Saints Panthers Week 1 recap, ladies and gentlemen. I was going to hold this video until Monday, but I'm going to release it on Sunday. How fun was that? What'd y'all think? Where are we at here? I mean, unbelievable performance by the Saints. And, the night before, I was down at the Mahogany Hall Jazz Lounge, and I was talking about the game, and I was like, it all seems very clear. It has all seemed clear to me this entire offseason that I thought the Saints were going to progress. I thought they got better at a lot of the deficiencies from last year, and I really truly believe that Pete Carmichael was the problem with the offense. And I believed that Clint Kubiak and that new, innovative, creative offense was going to make an instant impact. But then all offseason, I kept hearing Saints are the worst team in the NFL. Saints possibly might be the first overall pick. Saints may have the least amount of wins. Dennis Allen will be fired first. And I kept thinking, maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe I'm wrong. And I said, you know what? I got to draw a line in the sand, stick with what I believe, and look what happened. Do you think, ladies and gentlemen, that after today, you think Monday or Tuesday we're going to be hearing how the Saints are the most boring offense in the NFL? I have a sneaky suspicion that's going to go away. I have a sneaky suspicion no one is going to say that the Saints are the worst team in the NFL. I have a sneaky suspicion the Saints are going to be on a lot of people's radar today. And specifically because of what other teams did, specifically to the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons are the example of just saying a bunch of nothing. I think Kirk Cousins will be sweet. I think Raheem Morris will be sweet. I think Drake London will be sweet. I think Bijan Robinson is sweet. I think all this stuff is sweet. And it's like, we don't have any evidence of that. And then you see what happens. Bryce Young. It's like, well, Bryce Young will develop. Bryce Young is going to do this. The Panthers are a sleeper team. It's like, you have no evidence at all that that's going to work. You have no evidence that could possibly be a thing. You're just pulling that out of nowhere. And then the Saints are the opposite. You did have evidence, right? Everyone did have the evidence that the Saints were viable. I mean, 9-8 last year, tied for the division. We've gone over it. Everyone seemed to forget that. There was evidence that the Saints improved their entire offensive coaching staff with Clint Kubiak. There is evidence that that system and scheme works. There is evidence that the Saints have a great defense. There is evidence that the secondary is one of the best secondaries in the NFL. And we saw it all come to fruition today. This week, we are going to obviously have a tremendous amount of coverage on this game and the Saints moving forward. If you're looking for me to come out here and glaze the New Orleans Saints, if you're looking for me to come out here and heap praise on them, if you're looking for me to come out here and say, this is one of the best performances I've ever seen, you came to the right place. This is a glazing session. Okay, put the red light on because glaze is everywhere. Pause. This was as good as you thought things could be. This was better. Okay, I was at the Dome. Obviously, I was posting on my Twitter. Posted the naked glizzy. It ain't a joke, ladies and gentlemen. When I say it, I mean it. And when I mean it, I live it. And when I live it, I breathe it. Okay, Dome dog, not a condiment in sight. All right, why? Because I make sacrifices for the team. And those sacrifices paid off. If I can choke down a condimentless glizzy, I mean, there's no bounds that the team can't achieve. So I'm in the Dome. I'm feeling it. I'm seeing it, and I'll tell you this: from the first possession on, it was obvious. From the first possession on, it was obvious what Clint Kubiak brought to the table. I felt like I was watching Michelangelo. I ain't talking Donatello, and I damn sure ain't talking Leonardo. Paint the Sistine Chapel. And man, I hope Michelangelo is the one who painted that for that reference to work. If it's not, I'm going to feel like a fool. Okay? I feel like I was watching Thomas Keller cook or something. What he was doing was so refreshing. And we will go through plays and situations. There were so many of them. But just the way we were running the ball, the play calling was so intentional. If it was 2nd and 9, if it was 3rd and 19, the 3rd and 19 was one of my favorite plays. And it wasn't even a completion. The 3rd and 19, 2 years ago or last year, that is 100% a Pete Carmichael halfback draw. 100%. And just a punt. What does Kubiak do? Takes a shot. What's he do? He takes a shot, ends up in a pass interference. The drive continues. I mean, every single running play, every single toss, every single play action, every single deep ball, it was all perfect time, perfect play call. I mean, he used people in the right way, used Shaheed in the right way, used Kamara in the right way. It felt like we could do anything we wanted. And I mean, we did. We scored 47 points. But if you look at this, I mean, 22 first. I mean, obviously it's a complete domination, but just look at our numbers. 7 for 13 on third down, 13 rushing first downs. We had a 6.1 yards per play. 6.1 yards per play. 8 yards per pass. We ran the ball. I mean, we ran the ball for 180 yards with a 4.9 yards per rush. 4 for 4 in the red zone. Had the ball for 37 minutes. Just a thing of beauty. And we'll pull up some tweets here. Luke Johnson, that was the Saints' first week 1 opening drive touchdown since 2018, by the way. I wonder what could have changed. We're also going to take a look here at this. So this came out from my boy, Ben Baldwin. So this is the offense EPA per play. Okay, EPA is expected average over, or expected value over the league average. So it's basically EPA is like how much better you are doing over average per play. Okay, you have defense and then you have offense. Look where the Saints are. Look at this. Right in line. Teams like Kansas City, teams like Buffalo, teams like Houston, all who had big time week 1s. I mean, it's just one of those things where you see this and look at what we're doing. Like, it's not like, and this right here is where, you know, people are like, well, you're beating up on the Panthers. It doesn't count. Doesn't count. It does count. Why? Because all offseason, I listened to people say we were the Carolina Panthers. How many people, respected people, said the Panthers might win the division? The Panthers, I think, are better than the Saints. The Saints are boring. The Saints can't win Dennis Allen. The Saints can't win Derek Carr. The Saints can't win this, and this. And look at this. Look at the production. Look at the efficiency in the first game, right off the bat. I mean, it was a thing of beauty. It really was. The offense was a thing of beauty. I mean, everybody. I mean, Alvin looked like peak Alvin Kamara. 5 catches, 27 yards, all intentional. I mean, how many times did we see Alvin motion out into the slot for a screen? How many times did we see him? I mean, there was a few check down situations, but nowhere near the Pete Carmichael check down festival. Running the ball, I mean, look at this. We didn't have a running back go over 80 yards last year. The entire season. Boom. 83 yards. 5.5 yards a carry for Alvin. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. If we're doing this, ladies and gentlemen, you think this is a 7-win team? Huh? On all those coin flip games, like I told y'all in our season preview, when we were a 1-point dog against the New York Giants, what do you think that line opens up as? You think when it opens up tomorrow or opens up Tuesday, you think we're gonna be a 1-point dog to the Giants? I don't. You think the Broncos line won't move? You think the Raiders line won't move? And don't worry, Vegas fans. I know there's a lot of Raiders fans that watch this channel. I'm going to get to Antonio Pierce this week because Antonio Pierce cost the Raiders week 1, just like I said he was going to do in the offseason. Antonio Pierce is not the guy. I will cover that for y'all in a video later this week. Look around. Look at the Atlanta Falcons. All of a sudden, what happened? What happened? I was told that the Atlanta Falcons were going to win 12 games. I was told that they're going to be the 1 seed in the NFC. I was told it's a 2-team division. Falcons and Bucks. Saints are an afterthought. What makes you think the Saints can win 9 games? That's what I was told all offseason. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you exactly what. This right here. 47 points. Divisional game. It's beautiful whenever things come together, ladies and gentlemen. It really is. I mean, let's go through the individuals. Carr was fantastic. Carr was insane this game. Some of the throws, I mean, even the throws that you would deem dangerous. I mean, he only had 4 incompletions, so it's hard to even say the bad throws. But like the Rashid Shaheed incompletion, it was like third and long. Shaheed was kind of doing the crossing route. Even that pass, it was low. It was only where Shaheed could get to it, only where Shaheed could make a play, and it bounced or whatever. But even that right there, it's an incompletion, but Carr's giving his guy a chance. The Foster Moreau touchdown, I mean, again, I felt like I was listening to like the greatest like violinist of all time. It was just beautiful. Carr rolls out. Carr starts orchestrating, no pun intended. Pun is always intended. He starts orchestrating in the end zone, moves Foster into this wide open hole in the middle of the end zone. Really tough throw. Rolling out to his right, throws across his body to the middle of the field, something you don't want to see quarterbacks do. But he puts the ball up to where only Foster could get to it. The only way that a defender is making a play on that ball is if Foster bats it up or if Foster, hits it up or drops it to where it kind of stays up in the air. But where Carr threw it, Foster was the only one that could get to that. Foster, if it goes through his hands, it's way out of bounds. If it's over his head, it's over his head. Even that right there. I mean, Carr was dealing. But you look at this stat line, and I tried to explain this all off season too. We don't need 390 yards from Derek Carr and 5 touchdowns. This is what we need. 19 for 23, 200 yards. It wasn't like he was checking down. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. 142.5 rating. That's what we need. This is it. This right here. Is this going to win you the MVP? No. Is this going to get you 5,000 yards passing this season? No. Is this going to get you a division championship? It could. Is this going to get you hosting a playoff game? It could. Kamara, again, 15 carries, 83 yards, 5.5 yards carry, and a touchdown. I mean, every time he touched the ball, it was unbelievable. Every time he touched the ball, hole was wide open. The run design was beautiful. All the play design. I mean, how much creativity was there? How much motion was there? The play action, the timing, even some of the runs, like some of the tosses and some of the sweeps we were utilizing. Jamal ran hard. I had a feeling, I think we talked about in the preview, that Jamal was going to get extra carries because of Alvin kind of easing into the season. Certainly would happen, especially with the game being out of hand. Taysom Hill, unreal. Taysom Hill is one of those guys, like, it's not going to show up in the stat box, but he was in on every play for about 3 straight quarters. He was in on plays on special teams. He was in on plays blocking. He was in on plays at fullback. He was in on plays at halfback. He was in on plays at, I mean, it's all over the place. Tight end. Taysom Hill gets a 10 out of 10. A+ for me. Man, there was another play where Alvin was lined up at fullback. Taysom was lined up as the halfback. Alvin, y'all remember this play? Alvin's at fullback. Taysom's at halfback. Carr, it's a play action. Okay. It was a play action rollout, and Alvin runs like a short little drag route type situation. That play right there is something we did not have last year. That play right there is one of those plays you see the Chiefs run and the Ravens run, where if it's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 goal line situation, you can't stop that play. It's unstoppable. Unstoppable play. And now the Saints have those kind of things, those kind of wrinkles in the playbook. Unbelievable. Receiving wise, obviously Rashid Shaheed had the big one to start. Foster 4 for 50. I mean, look at all these people. Like look at. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people carried the ball. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different pass catchers. So Shaheed goes 3 for 73. Foster 4 for 43. Alvin 5 for 27. Juwan 2 for 26. Jamal 1 for 13. Olave 2 for 11. 2 targets on 2 catches, 2 targets. Just unreal. Defensively, I mean, Alontae Taylor have a day. Alontae Taylor have a day. 3 sacks. Obviously, the secondary is fantastic. I'll tell you this: it's not going to show up again. It won't show up on the stat sheet. Chase Young was out of control today. Chase Young was everywhere. He was wreaking havoc. The amount of just pressure he was bringing. So many. I mean, again, looking at this doesn't do it justice. You go back and watch that game. Chase Young was a disruptive force. Now, if we flip it to Carolina, I feel bad for Panthers fans. I had a lot of them in my comments on Saturday night after our preview videos. We did 2 Saturday. Had a comment section filling up with Panthers fans. I have a sneaky feeling they might be done with Bryce Young. Bad news. It ain't the offensive line. Bad news. It ain't the wide receivers. It's Bryce Young. Can't do it. Told you that last year. I think 2 games in, I said, I've seen enough. He's a bust. And people said, no, you got to give him time. You got to give him this. You can give him all the time in the world. He's still going to be 5'9", 175 pounds with just physical limitations. Bottom line. Physical limitations. Arm, mediocre. Speed, mediocre. Ability to move around in the pocket, bad. Ability to see over the line, bad. I mean, Bryce Young was abysmal today. And not just like on plays where, he had someone in his face, but there was a lot of throws that he just tossed out of bounds, just didn't hit the receiver. He was terrible, and he's not it. I mean, if the Panthers are destined for the first overall pick this year, there will absolutely be a conversation of, do we draft a quarterback first overall? And that would be crazy. If you make that trade for Bryce Young, get him, and then 2 years later, while he's still under contract with the team, you draft a quarterback first overall again. That would be never happened before in NFL history. That would be absolutely wild. But he was terrible. I mean, he was terrible. And the Panthers were terrible. And the Panthers, I mean, it's just, I don't want to gloat, but I certainly do want to gloat. But everyone that kept saying, like, the defense is better, you don't get better when you lose your 2 best defensive players. You don't get better when you lose players, when you lose talent. Now, if you're someone like the Saints, you do get better whenever you bring in talent. So when I said the Saints' defensive line was better, and people said, well, how? It's like, well, Chase Young's right there. Cam Jordan's healthy. It's like, oh, well, Peyton Turner isn't very good. Agreed, he's not going to play. Well, Isaiah Foskey's, yeah, agreed. He's not going to play. There you go. I mean, what do you want me to tell you? So I kept hearing about how the Panthers' defense was going to be improved and all this other stuff. Obviously not the case. I kept hearing how their offensive line was going to be better because they'd bring in 3 guys. Obviously not the case. The Saints dominated the interior both offensively and defensively. And the last thing we'll talk about is the Saints' offensive line. Did y'all see it? Y'all see the vision? Y'all see the vision? What's the vision? What we talk about all of season. How do you protect the offensive line? Quick, efficient passing plays. Don't have Derek Carr sit back there. Don't have him sitting back, needing a pocket to let these long plays develop. Short, quick routes, play action, misdirection. And then when you run the football, zone, you run on toss, you run sweeps. Look what happened. We looked like we had the best offensive line in the NFL. Trevor Penning, hell of a game. He was fine. At times, he was, on ice skates. There was a screen that ended up working. He runs out, and he sliding all over the place. It is what it is. He got a holding call against him. I believe it was the only penalty against him, and I don't think he was holding anybody. Saw the in the stands. We were all 22, and we were all saying the same thing. Didn't see the flag. So even that, I think Penning, even that negative, I don't think he should have had. I thought he played fine. I thought the offensive line was fine. Are the Panthers a great competition? No, they're not. But what I take from this game, and what you should take from this game, is the Saints are different. Like, it's a different team. You can tell. It is a different offense. It's a different philosophy. It's a different scheme. It's a different system. Everything is innovative. Everything is new. Everything is creative. Everything is intentional. It is so far removed from what we have seen for the last 15 years. That, you can go ahead and check that. You can go ahead and say, yep, true. That is 100% true. Is it going to lead to a Super Bowl? Is it going to lead to an NFC Championship? I'm not worried about the result side of it, but just schematically, systematically, you can go ahead and say that all of the ideas we had of how this would look philosophically, a lot of big words getting tossed around on a Sunday night. All that is holding up. We are now in the same boat as the Kevin O'Connells of the world and the Mike McDaniels of the world and the Sean McVays of the world and the Kyle Shanahans of the world. That is where our plays are coming from. That is where our scheme is coming from. That's where our design is coming from. You can also go ahead and check. We are not one of the 5 worst teams in the NFL. When you can do this, you separate yourself from the Panthers, from even the Patriots. I know they beat the Bengals, but the Patriots, when you separate yourself from the Broncos, you separate yourself from the Commanders, you separate yourself from the Raiders, separate yourself from all those teams. The Chargers, they aren't doing this. They don't have the ceiling to do this offensively or defensively. So where are we? We're exactly where we said we were. We are middle of the pack. We are in that 10-win-ish conversation. We're right there with the Rams, the Seahawks, those kind of teams who are doing the same thing we're doing. Trying to win a division with 10 games, 11 games, or trying to sneak into a wild card. That's it. So all the talk of 27th in the NFL, 28th in the NFL, 30th in the NFL, last in the NFC South, throw that in the trash. That's over. That is gone. Validation number 3, we're not boring. All right? Check. That's off. This is no longer your Pete Carmichael New Orleans Saints. Not boring. All right? See ya. And most importantly, the last thing you can validate is that we are not that far removed from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Atlanta Falcons. The idea that we cannot compete in the NFC South, throw that in the trash as well. Get it out of here. And I'll tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you this. If we beat Atlanta in Atlanta, and right now, that's what, 3 weeks away? If we beat Atlanta in Atlanta, there's a good chance at that point, Atlanta goes, they play Philly, KC, and then us. Is that how it goes? I believe. We play, no. Yeah, that might be it. Someone double check that. If we win that game, all of a sudden we're the odds-on favorite to win the division. All of a sudden, we're rocking and rolling. And this conversation of like, can we win the division? Can we do it? All that's over with. I can't wait. So it's on. It's all in front of us here. The hope is back. I hope you enjoyed week 1 as much as I did. Like I said, we're going to have a ton of content throughout the week. Multiple videos every day, if I had to guess. Probably 3 videos on some days. But I wanted to get this out here. My throat, I'm losing my voice. Again, I was in the dome screaming, losing my mind. I was so fired up. I mean, I got hot tea. I mean, I have hot tea. I have mint medley, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to drink to loosen up the throat. Pause. So that I can pump out content all damn week. But I did want to have something out there. I did want to have something out here tonight. So I know it's late if you're watching this. Thank you for staying up with the boy. But get on down in the comments below. Let me know what you thought, how you're feeling, realizing that we're going to be okay. Realizing that we're all right here. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. And can I get one big hoot at? I will see you in the next video.